Hi guys, I'm Kriti Tiwari and welcome to In Conversation with Kriti. Thank you so much everyone for coming and watching this video. If you are newer, please go subscribe to my channel. So here I am with another episode of ICK. This episode is all around being a woman. As a woman, this episode is absolutely very close to my heart. In this podcast, we have discussed all about women power, women health, women empowerment and everything. So let's get into the beautiful conversation and try to know a woman even more deeply. So welcoming a Dr. Niveditha, who is a very strong and a very vocal woman, and a doctor who is a phenomenal woman. Just get into the conversation and try to know her even more with her journey, get lots of inspiration from her and move forward in her life with this beautiful podcast. So let's get started. Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much for coming on my show. It's pleasure to talk. It's always pleasure talking to you, and I'm very excited for this conversation. So let's begin this conversation.
Thank you, Kriti. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, ma'am. So my first question is, it's not a question. I'm very keen to know more about you because the way I saw your page you talk about sex and all. I think it's something you're doing something very out of the box kind of thing, because people they're talking about the sex, they talk about the women health, women pleasure in a bedroom, but outside the bedroom, oh my God, no one want to talk about this. So ma'am, yes, how this journey began to be on a social media doing so much stuff all together? Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you for having me. And I think it's a question that I get every so often when I interview with anybody. I think being an Indian woman and talking about things like sex or pleasure and, more complicated things like abuse, violence, and, things like divorce. So all these things are still taboo in our country. And I think it takes a lot for someone to actually come up and come out to the social media and talk about it. For me, I think I reached a point in my life where I wanted to make a difference and I wanted to give back to mostly women, but also, everybody else, what I have learned and what I do here in Australia. So I am a sexual and reproductive health specialist here in Australia. And I've been doing this work for about 12 years now. And how we deal with sex and reproductive health here is completely different to how we deal with it in India. And I think that is what is very important. So when I started my job here in sexual health, it was in the thought saying, okay, I'll start working in sexual health, but I'll find a job in dermatology and go back to do dermatology eventually. But what happened is I have really fallen in love with the job I do, because I was amazed how people were very accepting of the fact that sex is happening after people reach puberty. And that is the truth, because in India, it is happening, but I think we are all still in denial. Many people think that, if you're younger or if you're not married, that sex is not happening. And even if it is happening, they rather not talk about it. And I think that is the big problem, because if you don't accept that something is happening, then you are brewing things like STIs. You're brewing things like unsafe abortions. You're brewing things like violence, sexual assault, abuse. You're hiding a whole bunch of things if you don't talk about it. Only when you accept it, then people can talk about things. Then you can talk about prevention. Then you can talk about safety. Then you can talk about consent and a whole lot of things. In a world where we are not accepting of it, how can we address anything? So I think I thought it was high time to change that. And as a process, and I think social media has been a fantastic way to do it. And like I love dancing and music, and I feel like dance and music and a lot of Indians have great liking for, Bollywood, yeah, Collywood, or, we love it. So I thought what better way than get to people than dance and music. So I have opened up myself and, put my face out there, and I've agreed to talk about everything that is tabooed, because I think that is very important. People have to open up and say what is happening in their life and then accept it as is. Acceptance is important. Why are we always, trying to pretend and live a fake life? Almost, we never show our true colors. It is almost like people don't accept you if you show your true colors, and I think that is really sad. In real life, people should be able to show what they really are, what they feel, what they want, what they need. And I think that is what is important. That is what is good quality of life. And yeah, I'm out here as an example and to show that. That's all.
Absolutely. It is so good to know all this thing because it's really motivating for all of us. And as you said, now we Indians have this craze to saw content all around dancing and video and dancing and music with the music, and the way you put your content, it is so lovely. It is, we didn't feel like awkward. We feel like, okay, it is something which we need to learn. It is something we really need. Okay, ma'am. So there are two questions coming into my mind. First, related to topic, and second one is about you. I would like to know from you, like, did you feel any challenge at the early when you started talking about sexual health and assault, abuse on a social media? Was it a time I may like I know कि when I started my journey, there were people like who came to my page unknowingly and they bash on me. So you're talking about something very sensitive. So was it a time where you feel like you should stop doing this, and how you overcome all these challenges? Or yeah.
It's a good question, Kriti. I want to say that, I started doing this after accepting how bad things are going to be. And I think that was my starting point. If I had started this just, like that, and then if I had had people bash or people show me bad things or negative things, maybe I would have worried. But I think at a point in my life where I started this, the bashing and people not accepting me for what I am or what I have done in my life, all that had already happened. So for me, I started at a point where I was like, I don't care anymore. It's okay because I have already reached a point where people are not accepting me for what I am, or, they see me as a rebel, and my values and, sanskari values are, I challenge them. I tell people, well, people are having sex before their marriage, whether you like it or not. I tell, and I tell people, if you're in unhappy marriages, other people are going to see other people. They are going to fall in love outside the marriage. They are going to probably go and have sex outside the marriage. And it is the truth. Yes, all the time. It is happening all the time. And I feel like I have reached a point where I am in a position to tell people, yeah, it is what it is. That is what it is. And that is how it is happening. And I don't care how it is going to come back and bite me or impact me in my own personal life, because whatever had to happen or impact or however it had to take a turn, it already had. So that was a point in my life where I started this page, this journey. So going forward, I can only show people that it doesn't matter, because you still can go forward. Because truthful relationships are important, and falling in love and being able to accept that you've fallen in love is important. And yes, and being in love as youngsters, even before you get married, yes, it's going to happen, and accepting it, and it is what it is. Yes, important. And not everyone who's in love end up getting married as well, and that is the truth. And I think we have to accept that as well. So I think these things are very important. And as you know, I think we have different standards for men and we have different standards for women. So I think nobody questions men's virginity, or when did you lose your, that's not even a thing. But when it comes down to women, it is like, when did you lose your virginity? And women's virginity is almost her entire character. Her entire, she can be the most kind, loving, beautiful person in this planet, but her virginity, and whether she was a virgin or not till she got married, and all of that kind of unfortunately defines a woman, the character of a woman still in India, and I think that is sad. And I feel like I don't care about that anymore. And I think it's high time we all accepted the truth, because if we accept truth, we will accept people as is. We will be living much fulfilled, happier lives, truthful in the relationship, not cheating, not doing things that are unwarranted. Absolutely. If you are straightforward, if you're able to say, well, I don't think we both are getting along, I think we need to, divorce and go apart. If you're able to say that, then probably there is no question of infidelity or cheating. So I think being open about yourself and letting people accept you as you are is very, very important. And in that process, you might lose a lot of people, a lot of friends. And yes, you're right. People may bash you. People may call you names. And it is all going to happen. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say, it doesn't happen. It is all going to happen. But in all honesty, if people are not able to accept you for what you are and the person you are, I'm not quite sure if we need those kind of people around us. I'm not quite sure if we need call them as friends. You know what I mean? I think
it's better to stay alone rather than having.
Yeah, but let me tell you, Kriti, you won't be alone. You will be probably, definitely at least one or two. True. But I think we should learn to be happy with one or two. One or two ke saath, if we are able to have, a good day, end of the day, you have a couple of friends who will be by your back, what may. And then that is what is important. There's no point having, hundreds of people to meet and greet and laugh. They're not friends, they're acquaintances. They're people that you meet in life. That is your social life and it's happening, but they're not really friends. At the end of the day, I think making true friends are important. And when you're able to show your true color, and those people who stay, they are your true friends. And I believe in that. So yeah, so the people who have stayed with me have stayed with me past the untaboos that I have opened, past me saying sex happens all the time, past me saying, yes, divorce is okay, and we are not going to live in unhappy marriages anymore, things like that. So I think that is what is important. That is what has driven me. And I'm very keen and very stubborn with my goal and what I want to achieve.
That's so inspirational, ma'am. Being like, what I learned from you is that you always keep out from a social judgment noise, and your confidence speaks. And this is something which make you different from others, because everyone want to talk about this. Everyone has, everyone want to do something different, but the point is they always get affected by the noise which is coming from outside. So, ma'am, while you were speaking, one question clicked into my mind. In India, it's very much unfair to be in a relationship for a young guy or a girl who is in like 21, 22, like whoever want to be in a relationship. It's a very bad thing. It's you can't even do this. So how would you want India to perceive relationship as? Because I think abroad it's fine, but in India, in 2-tier, 3-tier cities, now things are getting better, but in rural areas you can't think of this. So yeah, how would you want India to perceive relationship as? Because I think it's a very normal thing. It's just a relation between a man and woman. So what's bad in this? So yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. And, the rural part of India that we're talking about, Kriti, it's going to take a very, very, very long time. We are still struggling in urban India. People who you think are going to universities, who are going abroad and getting themselves educated, who are in a much socioeconomic, status. We are still struggling to make those people accept that, sex is happening. And, it's baby steps. And I feel like even between Delhi, Bombay is completely different to how it is in Chennai. Though Chennai is also a big city, it's also a metropolitan city. We have, we have fashion as whatever. We have, everything. We have everything as per date on Chennai. But Chennai and Tamil Nadu is a much more conservative state when compared to other states like Maharashtra or Delhi. Like I was saying, they're probably more liberal. Even Bangalore, I feel, is much liberal place when compared to Chennai. So in that situation, Chennai is a city, and you have such huge, Anna University and Ramachandra and Madras Medical College. You have such big universities, such a large educated population. Tamil population is largely educated. And you still find it difficult to open among that community to say, hey, you know what, when people come to puberty or of age around 12, 13, and these days they are getting married when they are 27, 28, the concept that you're thinking from 13 to 30, that somebody is actually not fulfilling their sexual needs is kind of silly. And I think that is what we have to tell people. Like what, I mean, yes, out of choice, some people may feel that they don't want to lose their virginity. And some people may feel no urge to have sex or need to have sex. There are individuals who are asexual, they don't just feel, and that's all fine. Apart from that, the vast majority have sexual needs, and they start feeling sexually aroused during puberty when they are starting to have hoarseness of voice, beard, mustache, boobs. And I think along with that comes sexual needs, sexual urge. And if you are not able to safeguard them between that age to that age that they are going to get married, that is a big gap. That is what is wrong. It is not wrong to, people who are sexually active youngsters wanting to have sex is not wrong, because whether you think it is wrong or not, they are having, it is happening there. But if you're able to provide a safe space, let us just say you accept it, you're able to talk to your son or daughter about, you cannot touch someone else without their permission. Isn't that the most important conversation we need to have in India today, considering our sexual assault and rape and abuse rate? Isn't that a conversation you want to have among youngsters? Consent and saying no and telling, boys that you just can't touch anyone without them giving permission for you. You're not able to do all that. Why? Because you are in denial. You are in denial. You think they're not going to have sex. For you, it is awkward. You don't want to talk about it. But it is high time we have to start teaching our youngsters how this is done, how this cannot be forced, how rape culture or whatever that is not okay, stuff like that. So I think we are missing out on so much because we are in denial. We don't teach them contraception. We don't teach them about condoms. We don't teach them about STI testing. We don't teach them about so many things, which is what is wrong, which is what is lacking, which is what is not okay. Because we are having this some kind of a facade, and, we are imagining some kind of a false stature and, false thing in the society, and we are thinking, oh my God, we're not going to talk about this. But unfortunately, I think at least, the vast number, like you said, in urban cities and towns, you'll think that you understand, including, we can't talk about just youngsters because the parents are people who are bringing up these youngsters. It is high time we all realize that it's going to happen. Puberty is a surge of hormone. People want to touch themselves. They want to masturbate. They want to have sex. They want to fall in love, and they will, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, they'll hide it from you. But if you like it, you'll probably know it. And you can actually have an eye on them. If you actually are accepting of it, you can probably have a very close eye. And if something goes wrong, they will come to you. If you're not accepting of it, they will hide it from you. But the fact is, it's going to happen whether you like it or not.
One thing which I have seen that, okay, somehow your parents are accepting your relationship, and due to some reasons in future you got divorced, you just got a breakup. At the end of the day, that the person who are in a relationship, they found themselves completely alone. There is no one to support them. Their parents used to say, oh, it was your choice. Then how could you be so wrong? It is happening in India. We are not like, we have made all this thing something very big, which is not that great. Like, it is something, it is a relationship between, just the relation between our mother and father. It is sister, and it's just that bond. But we are just, I don't know why we have make it so big.
I'll tell you, in India, we have very high standards on ourselves.
True,
and I think that is the problem. I mean, it feels good, like good standards are good, yes, for different things, yes. But our expectations and the standards we set up for ourselves is so high that we are not allowed to make a mistake. We are not allowed to fail. And if somebody makes a mistake or if they fail, they are looked so down upon. It is like as though they have done something inhuman. They're like, how could, but I think, so at this point, I think what we have to understand is to err is human. To make mistakes is human. Everybody can, make mistakes. Arranged marriages go wrong and people get divorced. So parents themselves who have chosen people can make wrong choices sometimes. And yes, and it's okay, because to err is human. How would one know everything? How can everyone be perfect? And how can always all of us be right? Because if we were always right, we are never going to learn. We learn from our mistakes. So, and I think that is what is important. We have to accept as a group in India that it is okay to make a mistake. It's okay to do it. How can you not get 98? How can you not get into medicine? How could you? No, all of that, not just in sex and relationships. We have high standards, and the way we react to failure or to something that people are not able, not even failure, I can't call it failure, to a standard that you set up. And if you're not able to attain is, I think we have to understand that it's okay. It's okay. Probably there's something else for you. Probably you'll go work on something else that works for you. And we really haven't learned to take life that easy. We haven't, learned. It's culturally been told to us that you have to do the best. You have to be the best. You have to make it right. And they haven't told us that, making wrong choices is okay. And changing is a possibility. And realizing and not doing it and learning from your mistakes are all possibilities. And I think that those are things that we actually have to unlearn from what we've learned in the past. So in that way, it is going to help us accept things, and like you said, probably be more supportive with people when something goes wrong in their life. Like, for example, sometimes, people choose a science group and then they start doing science, they want to do medicine. And then halfway through it, they may realize, I hate this. I probably want to go and do arts. But can we? In India, we can't. And I think that, yes, we can't. So I think if you intense in year 10, when you're like, I don't know, 15, and you probably are, people are telling you you're not in an age to decide who you want to have sex with, but you're at an age to decide what you want to do for the rest of your life. And and I think that's funny, because you're allowed to pick your subject. You pick one subject that you cannot change for the rest of your life. But you're not supposed to pick a guy that you want to have sex with. So somehow, life decisions you can make, but you still can't make this. It's a bit double standards there, isn't it? So I feel like, we have to accept people for their mistakes. We have to give chance for people to change. And I think that's very important. True, ma'am. As you said, we have maintained a standard for ourselves. We just want to be on that high standard. But that standard is not benefiting us. That the standard which we made for us is also to please others. Like, we have set standards to please our mom, our surroundings only. Somewhere we are not enjoying ourselves. We just in a shadow to be good, to be best. It's something like which we should really unlearn these things. We should accept the way we are making mistakes, being failed. It's a normal thing. It's a setback. I think parents are, parents or, people are still at a mindset where they get very disappointed when your daughter or son don't do something, but someone else's daughter or son, the
True.
comparison, the jealousy, and you feel like, oh my God, he got medicine. My child didn't get medicine. What am I going to do now? Honestly, what are you going to do now? There is more than just getting 98% in life, let me tell you. They might get something else and absolutely love doing something else. And I think we have to understand that. And I think that is where I think mental health comes into place, where, again, sexual health is one thing, but we also are not really aware of the amount of mental damage these kind of high standards and not accepting people's failure can do to people. And I think that is, and I think
It's
that
all
is
very
also,
interconnected altogether.
yes, they're all very interconnected.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. So I want this conversation all about women. I just want to have a conversation around feminism, sexual health, mental health of a woman. So a question come to my mind, like, yes, we are seeing that condition of women is improving day by day. We are talking about women empowerment. We are talking women are getting more empowered every day. They come up with a new thought, new idea. They are entrepreneur. They're at high position. But is it a right time to say that yes, women are totally empowered today? Or is it too soon for us to say that yes, women are empowered, or we have to go a long way to say this?
I think we still have a long way to go. We're still fighting discrepancies in salary, so we're still in a very patriarchy, achial society, whether you like it or not. And we have a long way to go. I think it's amazing how women are, well educated and, finding jobs in several industry and being able to be independent. It's all happening. But you know what, Kirti, I think even though we are doing all of those things, still emotionally and, mentally, we are very behind. Even women who are very independent and, are doing really great in their career, let's just say, they still are kind of tied in a thing of, divorce is wrong, or this is not wrong, or we are still tied in that cultural knot, so that there's no full independence as to do and think what you want to do. And I think that is very important. And, today we are doing this very close to where Argentina won FIFA World Cup.
Yeah.
And as a world ambassador, we have Deepika Padukone from India going and giving out the World Cup, to Messi, to the winning team.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, instead of, applauding, to her and applauding and telling her how great a job she has done as a woman, it is sad that today I see 1 billion memes with the khaki color of the bikini in the song being wrong. And how can she wear khaki or orange, and how can, Shah Rukh Khan wear green? And I'm thinking, how is this going to, how are we progressing? In fact, I feel almost so ashamed. I feel we are regressing. If we are not able to actually put big banners of Deepika Padukone and, say, oh my God, amazing, she is the face of India, standing there handing out FIFA World Cup.
True.
I mean,
This is such a big thing.
it's a big thing. Instead of making her achievement such a big thing, we are really have stooped so low and looking at a color. It's orange, come on, give me a break. And we're looking at color, we're trying to dissect the fact. And I mean, what's happened? Like, you know what I mean? So I think that is, yes, I feel like we are regressing. So like you said, are we progressing? Have we reached there? I don't think, not even close. You couldn't celebrate a woman standing on the World Cup FIFA. I mean, how bad is that? How bad?
True. I think right now I used to feel like men and women are in a cat race. Here we just want to compete one another because we just forget that the term equality, which came, equality means just we need an equal. But here we are trying to just in a cat race. Okay, I do better, you do better. I will push you down. I think it's all about not being progressive, not being empowered. It's all about being in a rat race. I just used to feel like this.
See, I don't think this is about a rat race, because I do feel like a lot of, men do support, women going up and stuff like that. But sadly, I feel we are in a country which is very politically biased, as well. Yeah, as well. And unfortunately, I think that is making a, big turn on women and still what they dress and all of that, independent of what their achievements have been. So I think in that way, we are not growing. It is a shame. And I think this needs to change. And like you said, I don't think we are even close. Seeing what has happened and what's happening, I'm thinking, well, we're not even close to progress. We are actually regressing, if anything at all.
Okay. So I was like some month ago, there was a judgment from Bombay High Court. They said that there is a married woman a married woman being asked to do household work does not mean that she's treated like a maid or a servant. How would you like to comment on this?
Yeah, I agree with it. If somebody is going to do your housework, you don't have to be a maid or a servant. I mean, look, I live in a country where we can't afford maids or servants. So I do my housework all the time. And then I'm a full-time specialist. And I also, do the job that I do on Untaboos and, all the videos. And so all of that. So doing housework is a basic life skill. It shouldn't be man or woman. Anybody should be able to do basic life. It is like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Not able to make hot water for yourself for the shower. It's sad. It means like even basic, you don't have even basic life skill. And same thing if you are at home and if there's nobody else, or the washing machine is not, you have to know to put your clothes into the machine, and you'll have to know to put washing powder. You'll have to know to put it in the dryer, or put it in the line for it to dry. These things are basic skills, Kriti. It doesn't have to be a man or woman thing. I think every human should have some basic skill to live in today's world. It doesn't matter if it is man or woman. I think what is not fair is if you expect one person to do it for 4 of you.
That's what I want to ask next.
Yeah, so I think that's not fair, because, I mean, yeah, she can put all the laundry in today. Maybe another day when you feel the basket is full, somebody else put it in for her. Somebody else dry it. So it's like a teamwork. When there are 4 people living in a house, one person can't.
And in fact, then also it should not be a pressurized on a woman. Like, okay, she has to do this.
I don't think anyone should be able to pressure anybody to do anything. Okay, it's not about just women, even a man, even a child, even anyone. Nobody should pressure anyone to do anything. I don't think it's even a thing. I don't think just because you're a sass, you don't have the right to pressure someone to say you have to. Nobody has to. She can cook, she can clean, she can do whatever she wants for the man she loves, or she can do whatever she wants for her family. Wants, yes. Need, I think everybody should do it for you, yourself. Everybody should pitch in. Everybody should, because that is how a family is going to work. And like you said, it's not about just house chores, Kriti. Nobody can force anyone to do anything. You have to wear these kind of clothes. You have to comb your hair in a certain way. All of it.
Basics, yeah. Okay, ma'am. So do you think what are the challenges women are facing nowadays to get empowered, apart from just being in a patriarchal, we are living in a patriarchal society. So yes, apart from this, what are those most important things which literally making women not being so empowered?
I think our own beliefs as well. Our own beliefs. Women in our culture believe that we have to do things a certain way, that we have to, adjust or almost be a slave to people. And that is how we are going to win other people's heart, is what we believe, and to win those people's hearts or make them like us, we just go beyond our power in order to do that, and I think those kind of beliefs, you believe that this is what you have to do. You believe you have to stoop down. You believe that you can't do better than this. You believe that you can't get better than this. You believe that you won't survive if you leave this man. You believe that you're incomplete without children. Like that, we have a lot of beliefs, Kirti, which are probably the biggest, hurdle for us women to attain a full empowerment, because our beliefs are different and our beliefs are almost scary. And it's time to start unbelieving those things. Slowly, I think a lot of us are talking about it, and we have to stop unbelieving those things. You'll be fine just on your own. You shouldn't be forced to do anything. And it's okay if people don't like you. And it's okay if you're dislikable by a few people. It's really okay. You don't have to stoop down and bend down and, just the things we put ourselves through in order to make people like us or want us is just tremendous. And I think when all those things start changing in our head, then I think we are much, much more powerful, creatures. I think in that way, yes, there's a patriarchal society, like you said, and we are going to keep fighting it and whatever. But if we change those set of beliefs that we have, I think it's going to work a long way.
Okay, so from last 20 minutes, we are all discussing about being a woman, and it's been a 30 minutes we are discussing. So it would be a little long conversation, and people hardly listen to a 60-minute and 65-minute podcast. So I'll try to keep it short, and I have a set of rapid fire questions, which I enjoy the most. So hope you would enjoy this. So let's start with the rapid questions.
Okay.
So let's start with the rapid questions. So my first question is, what do you wish you had known 10 years ago?
That no amount of trying is going to change another person. You can't change another person. And I wish I knew that. I've wasted a lot of trying time trying to change. Sorry, I wasted a lot of time trying to change people. So I think wish I knew that you can't change other people.
Absolutely. Who inspired you most and why?
I think my mom is a big inspiration because, she was my role model, I should say, because she was a surgeon. She was born to a surgeon. She was a surgical oncologist, and she finished her, master's and MCH in a very young age. She took care of, the mother-in-law and the father-in-law of the house. She took care of her daughter. For all I knew, she always made and cooked home-cooked meals, and then went and did her surgeries and then came back. So she always taught me that treating your in-laws like your own is very important. So that is something that I learned from her, and I feel like I've followed that through. She also said balance is something I've learned from her, like work-life balance. She is an amazing surgeon, loves surgery, but she's never compromised on us. We always yearly, probably, even twice a year, we went on family holidays, and she made sure she made time for that. And in spite of all that, she was a fighter, and head of the department in a very young age. And when she became the head of the department, she was diagnosed by cancer herself. And then she had still, did surgery and radiotherapy and chemotherapy, went back into the same department for I think when she was diagnosed, they probably gave her 6 months. So she lived 3 years after her diagnosis, which I think was an absolute battle. It was very difficult for us as outsiders to even see her go through it. So I can only imagine how bad it would have been for her. And she died at an age of 48. So I think seeing someone that strong do all these things and do amazing things in that short span, and it also kind of taught me that life is not under your control. And I think that was a lesson that I learned very young. And I think many people don't realize that how fragile life can be. And I think that is what we have to understand. Life is very fragile. You don't know, really, like scarily fragile. You really don't know who you're going to see tomorrow or who's going to be there tomorrow or not. And none of that is under your control. And people don't take that information seriously, which I think they should. And I think that is very important. So knowing the things that I know, and I think that is why what you do today is important. Being kind today is important. It's not like, oh, I'll do it whenever. Today I'll be whatever. I'll be what. Tomorrow, you don't know. Tomorrow is not in your hands. Whether you will get another chance, you don't know. Whether that person who you're treating badly today is going to get another chance, you don't know. So for me, so my mom is a big inspiration. And I feel like the short life she's lived, or the short time she spent with me, I've learned a lot. The adult I am today is because of that.
Lots of respect to you. Like literally, it's a very emotional journey for me. Like when I heard she died at the age of 48, it was quite, I feel like, oh. But yeah, this is absolutely a phenomenal journey. She lived, and yeah, she is an inspiration.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next question is, describe yourself with 3 words.
Brave.
Yeah.
Very romantic.
Okay.
And very generous.
That's so nice. Okay, so what is the one common myth about your profession which you want to debunk over here?
Everybody's having sex. So I don't think there's any shame in just accepting and talking about it. Then we can help you with a lot of things, a lot of questions that you don't know the answer to.
Okay, so next question is, what was your childhood like? Okay.
My childhood was amazing. I just remember my childhood as to be one of the, best times of my life. Like I said, holidays, spending time with cousins, running around in the backyard and, playing all kind of games. And my school was fun, had some great friends, and still have great friends. I still have those friends, last 35, 40 years. And we've made some, very good amazing friendship. And I was always like captain of something or leader of something and school pupil leader. And so I feel like my childhood was, amazing.
That's so nice. Okay, so what are the best resources that helped you along your way?
Well, I feel one thing that's helped me a lot in many parts of my life is having a psychologist. And I would consider having someone help with your mental health and understand your mental health and other people's mental health and the psychology behind people's behavior. Those kind of things has helped me a lot in terms of relationship, in terms of parenting, in terms of being, father, daughter, a lot of things. And I think having a psychologist has been, I'll definitely call that a power bank. That's like a big go-to for me. And I've had different people over the, time of year. And I think they're amazing. They do a great job.
That's so nice. Okay, my next question is, what something in you people usually seems to misunderstood about you?
I think a lot of the time I can come across as arrogant. Because I am very straightforward. And, if somebody is lying, I'll call it a lie. If somebody is doing something wrong that I feel is, not I feel, that in general humanity, if you feel like you're doing something and that's not right, I will say it. I will call it out. I'm not someone who will tolerate other people doing wrong to me or wrong to anyone else and, just accept it. So I will be very point blank. That's not okay. And when I'm saying that's not okay, I don't think I can do a fake friendship. Fake friendship is very difficult for me. So I either like you, or if there is some way, if something has happened that I'm not going to like you, you'll just see it on my face. You'll see that, I wind off, I'll go back, I'll withdraw myself, and I won't be talking to you. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out that you're not sitting very well in my, radar. So I think that way, because I'm very straightforward.
Actually, the women who are straightforward, it's a very common word which we used to say for a woman. I would say she's a very arrogant, because our society can't take a woman, like if a woman is
having power.
Yeah, it can't. Then I think our society didn't digest that. If you're straightforward, if you're bold, we just tell her she has an ego, she is an egoistic,
Yes.
has an arrogance. So it's a very common word nowadays given to a woman, that she's arrogant. If she is moving in her life, she's straightforward, she's bold, she's arrogant. End of the discussion.
Yeah, and I think that's what people think of me.
Yeah.
So people think I am arrogant and rude, and yeah, sometimes I can come across as it because I don't put up with bullshit. So
that's okay. Yeah, like, okay, I can't do anything, because even I come across lots of people who said me arrogant, but I am actually not. Like, we are not arrogant. Yeah,
I don't think so.
But people call us arrogant. That's their choice. That's, we can't do anything for them. Okay, so when you are most productive?
I'm most productive kind of midday. I'm not a morning person at all. I can't do mornings. I struggle to get into work in time. I mean, I know it is hard with young kids and you're in a foreign country, you have no house help and stuff like that. But in spite of that, even in my uni days, even in my younger days, I don't think I attended the first class ever. The first class was at 7:30 to 8:30. I don't think I could ever do it. I couldn't do it. I was either absent or people would give me proxy. I could never do. So I'm really not a morning person, but the chunk in the afternoon, the chunk of the day, I think is good. Somewhere around 10:30 in the morning till about 6 p.m. in the evening is when I could be most productive. And then that's it. I have a very short productivity these days, I should say. I can't, because I get tired too easily. And yeah.
Okay. So what is success for you? I think it's a very subjective term. So yeah, according to you, what is success?
See, for me, I have a vision with this Untaboos that I have started for now. And for me, if Untaboos reaches, whether, nationally or internationally, to many people, where I'm able to provide sexual and reproductive health, advice and care. And I also have a platform in Untaboos, which is going to focus on domestic violence and abuse and women living in harmony. So if I'm able to make those two workshops of mine as big as it can and as reachable as it is for people, and create a safe space, especially for women, I think that will be a success. I think that's my goal now. And I think that's what I'm aiming at. So when I achieve that, when people know me for that, I think I will call it a success.
That's amazing. What is the best feature of yours?
Best feature of mine?
Best feature.
Feature, my eyes, I think.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's my smile as well. I think I have a good smile. People always compliment on my smile, but then they also say I have very attractive eyes. So maybe both.
Maybe both. Actually, exactly both.
Yeah.
What is the best compliment you ever got? Yeah, I know there would be a list of compliments you have, but yeah, the best one.
The best compliment I ever feel like something that cannot be replaced is my younger son. He tells me every day that I am the best mom in this whole world. He literally tells, minimum he'll tell at least once a day, but usually if you see by the time evening or morning, he would have said it at least 3-4 times a day. I don't know how many people, I know everybody love their children, every children love them, but I really don't know how many of them actually verbally hear that from their children. And in that way, I'm very lucky. So I think that is the best compliment I'll ever get, is my little one coming and telling me, Ma, you're the best in this whole world. And I think that's the best compliment I could ever get.
It is the best compliment for every mom out there. Okay, so what's your hobby?
Well, I dance. And I used to draw and paint and do a lot of artwork and stuff like that, which I don't do as much as I used to, but I would like to. But I also am going to say something that I really enjoy doing in my free time is, honestly, I don't have to, but I like cleaning. Cleaning gives me joy in a way when when everything is clean and tidy. So I'm a bit of an OCD person, and I keep putting things in my place and doing stuff, making everything look so beautiful, and lighting candles and stuff like that. So decorating and cleaning, so those kind of things I really like doing.
Okay, nice. I read this line somewhere that cleaning is also very therapeutic. If you are stressed,
I believe yes, it does work.
does.
Yeah, it works very therapeutic for me. Yeah, it is. It is. So on a day when I'm very quiet or I just don't want to talk to people and I want to keep myself, just in my own space, that is something that I will get into doing is, and also by the end of the day when everything looks clean, smells fresh, it's all lit candles and beautiful. I don't know, somehow it has this.
Yeah.
I feel like, no, I feel very proud of myself when I look at my home like that and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I did this, I made this, it's been hard because every time I look at it, I think this is exactly what every woman fears that she won't be able to do if she leaves a marriage or leaves her house or leaves an abusive person. Her fear is, will I be able to set up a home for myself? Will I be able to, afford things? Will I be happy? Will I be, those are the questions. And when I, do things in my home, in my safe space, my happy space, and then by the end of the day, I feel, very proud of how far I have come in my personal journey.
That's so nice. Okay, who do you admire most in a celebrity?
I'm a big hardcore fan of Rajinikanth, I should say. He's just one and only for a few reasons. One is I like how humble a human he is, in spite of all the, all the fans and all the star value he has, the style, the money, everything. I think Rajinikanth is the most humble person that, I have known. I should also say that, I'm a Maratha and I come from the Gaikwad family, and so does Rajinikanth. So his name is Shivaji Rao Gaikwad. So I have a big affinity for him for that reason.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are both from Mysore. So I'm a Mysore Maharashtrian as well. So for so many reasons, I like the man. I'm a big crazy fan. Like I'm a really very hardcore crazy fan of Rajinikanth.
That's nice. Okay, ma'am. So I'm done from my side. I have tried to put my best over here because this is also very new to me talking to people. So most of the time I used to get very fumble. I got confused from myself while answering the question or asking a question. So yeah, that's all from my side. At the last, I want to ask you that, is there anything which do you want to ask to me? Like, yeah.
Yes, Kriti, I want to ask you as to, you live in India and I don't. And I think that is a big difference. So as someone who lives in India, and now, coming out, I'm sure people are seeing you as a feminist, wanting to talk about women and women rights and women empowerment. So how does that sit where you are amongst your friends or parents, being that one rebellious person trying to talk about things in India? How does that feel as a youngster?
Ma'am, actually, to be very honest, it's not easy. Even in my friend, when I didn't do this, I was having a good friends. And now I have hardly one or two friends because people, when I'm sitting I'm talking about this, it is something very unusual in India. We can't even talk about this. I am recording this video and I'll put it in a YouTube, but I'll try hard that my parents won't see this, because if they'll watch this video, they'll think, kya baat kiya hai, kyun aisa kiya? And even most of my family members didn't know that I do a podcast or I have a page on Instagram, because it is
sad.
Yeah, it is sad, but we can't do anything. We can't, in a single night, we can't change their mindset. It would take a long time. And I'm trying hard to change their mindset through my podcast and also. And I'm talking about my parents. Okay, they're a generation back. Let's talk about my generation. You would shock to know that my friends are making fun of me that, okay, she is doing rubbish. It is something very unusual thing. So people call me, she's a mad, she is doing something which no one want to do. So it is not easier for anyone in India to do something out of the box. I'm pursuing my BSc. I am 20-year-old. Like in January, I would be 20 years old. But when I saw like people are laughing on me. Oh, she talked to people, like, very bad comment I used. That's why my first question to you was how you came through challenges, trolls, and all this. And I am in the starting of the journey. I hardly have 500 followers on Instagram.
I should say that you should be very proud of yourself, because you are so much more brave than I am. I, let's say, got the nerves and got the thing to do it when I'm 40 something. And, and I kind of almost sometimes feel selfish, because I feel I started doing it. I was married. I already had my children. I have already reached a point in my life that now you can't take away those things from me. Mera to ho gaya hai. So wo sab khatam karne ke baad, very smartly, now I am talking about, these things ki abhi farak nahi padega mere upar. That is what I'm trying to say. But in your age, I think it is amazing that you're doing in a country like India, because in your age, I would be scared, because in India is all about log kya kahenge, wo kya kahenge, ye kya kahenge. And it's also ऐसे करते रहोगे कि शादी कौन करेगा?
That's the point. Yeah, true. Once my father said this.
Yeah. No, I think in your head, when you accept कि शादी नहीं करना है, if somebody doesn't want to marry me because I am talking about what is reality, उस आदमी से शादी करके भी क्या?
True.
If you're in that mindset, then you will not be scared to say or talk about anything, trust me. I think my biggest fear when I grew up, or I was always like this, मेरे दिमाग में हमेशा चलता था कि everybody's having sex, यार क्या है, I mean, boyfriend था मेरा, everything. But then I never had the guts because मेरे सर में, and people were telling me, I'm thinking मुझे तो कोई शादी करने वाला नहीं है, nobody is going to get married to me, अगर होगा भी people will go and tell them कि ये ना ऐसी थी, ये करती थी वैसे, things like that. So all those things मैं इतनी डरती थी that I couldn't open up myself. So I feel like all the youngsters who are really young now, who are opening up and saying अरे जाओ यार, doesn't matter if you शादी करो मत करो, क्या है, this is it. I am actually very proud of you guys, and I think you are all doing an amazing job. Amazing job. अभी ऐसे ही करना चाहिए.
True. I think at this stage, I would talk about myself only. This is a stage where I used to feel that I am open to experiment myself, that where I use fit. So I try to experiment more with my content also, with my podcast also. And this is absolutely a new journey for me. So every day I used to learn. Every day, every podcast for me, every talk show is quite different from me. Sometimes I become so nervous. Like before this conversation, I was very nervous. So I used to fumble more in a conversation because, yeah, you're talking to someone who is experienced, who has lots of knowledge about it, and I am having no boyfriend. So how would I usually talk about the sexual health? So these are the questions which were in my mind. But thanks to you, I feel very comfortable while talking to you, and I got lots of knowledge from you. So thank you so much for coming onto my show, giving me this opportunity to host you only here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. All the best for all your podcast, and yeah, I'll see you around.
Yeah, okay, I'm done with from my side.
I'm sure you'll edit all this ना, छोटा छोटा कर दो सब कुछ, so that people are even listening. नहीं तो हम तो इतने गप्पे मारे.
Yeah, I'll compile this and I'll try to make a good edit out of it and post it on YouTube very soon. Like I'll post it within 2 days only, because I'm 1 week late for my podcast due to my examination and all. So yeah.
Of course. No, but thank you for your patience. And last time it got really late though. Thank you.
That's not a problem, ma'am. I have to host you, so I can wait for 1 or 2 months also. Like I have nothing like this. Okay, but finally we did this. We have a wonderful conversation. I think that matter more than anything else. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.